Going into the 1986 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics looked like the luckiest team in the league. Not only were they coming off of a season that saw them win an NBA title, but thanks to the 1984 Gerald Henderson trade and subsequent cratering of the Seattle Sonics, they had the second overall pick in the draft. While UNC's dominant big man Brad Daugherty was the gem of the class, the Celtics had an incredible second place prize in the University of Maryland's Len Bias. While Daugherty had potential for days, Bias was already a complete package that many scouts compared to a young Michael Jordan due to his explosive athleticism, playmaking ability, and lethal scoring. In what can only be described as a total tragedy, Bias was found dead only 48 hours after the Celtics drafted him. In what would become an unfortunate trend for that year's draft class, Bias died from cardiac arrhythmia induced by a cocaine overdose. The very next year, the Celtics had the 22nd pick in the draft and selected Reggie Lewis out of Northeastern University in Boston. While not as highly touted as Bias, Lewis would work his tail off during his 6 years in the NBA, helping ease the burden on Larry Bird and the other aging Celtics, even becoming an all-star in 1992. Unfortunately, tragedy would strike again in 1993 when Lewis collapsed on the court during a playoff game against the Charlotte Hornets. After being examined by doctors, it was revealed that Lewis had focal cardiomyopathy, which can lead to an irregular heartbeat and heart failure. This condition was thought to be career-ending, so Lewis sought out a second opinion. That doctor thought Lewis had a less serious condition, but still cautioned him not to start working out just yet. However, Lewis started practicing that summer, and on July 27, 1993, he collapsed on the court and died at 27 years old. Obviously, both of these deaths are incredible tragedies that I don't want to make light of in any way, but this story remains one of the most interesting what-ifs in NBA history. Not only would it have been so much fun to see both of them play together, but the Celtics could have used the two young stars to help extend Larry Bird's career by resting him more often. With that in mind, let's roll back the clock and see what would happen if both Len Bias and Reggie Lewis hadn't passed away so tragically. Okay, so the team is set, and I know what you're saying. You're probably looking at the roster, you're saying, this team is way too good, and I agree. They probably would not be able to make this work in real life, but basically what I did is I just took the roster, added in Len Bias for Jim Paxson, which I think is fair, right? No, probably not. But anyway, so this is what it looks like. Obviously, Larry Bird is up top, and then next up, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. Parrish probably going to go away in like a year or two. He's pretty old. Speaking of old, Dennis Johnson, also a very old guy. And then, of course, we get to the young guns. We have Len Bias. Old Jerry, of course, not a young guy, but not that old. And then finally, Reggie Lewis. I say finally, Danny Ainge is here as well. But Reggie Lewis and Len Bias are definitely the highlights of the save. We're going to give them 5 years. See what the Celtics can do. Can Larry Bird end his career more gracefully? Now he doesn't have to play so many minutes with the young bloods. Let's find out. All right, we are at season end. As you can see, Magic Johnson is your MVP. Reggie Lewis cannot pick up Rookie of the Year this year. It's gone to David Robinson. No real surprise there, though. Albert King, who I am not familiar with, could be real, not sure, but he wins Sixth Man of the Year for the Sonics. Akeem Olajuwon is your Defensive Player of the Year, as usual. Patrick Ewing picks up Most Improved Player of the Year. Okay. Larry Bird makes first team All-NBA, and Len Bias actually gets third team All-NBA. Larry Bird also All-Defensive second team, and Reggie Lewis gets second team All-Rookie. Here is a quick look at the season stats. As you can see, the team has been a little banged up. Kevin McHale out right now. Dennis Johnson missed a lot of time. Reggie Lewis also picked up a couple dings throughout the year, but we're looking good going into the playoffs minus McHale. And Boston is a 3 seed. They'll be going up against the Pistons. Here's a look at the Pistons. I don't have all the rosters exactly perfect, but either way, this is definitely a winnable series. Let's see how it goes. They lost. The Pistons beat them. I can't believe it. I thought this was going to be an easy series. Let's see who wins the championship. The Portland Trailblazers beat the Pistons in 5. Clyde Drexler gets a title. Okay. All right, here is a quick look at the roster. As you can see, Kevin McHale has left us, but we still have Larry Bird. Len Bias is progressing, as is Reggie Lewis, so let's go on to year 2 and see how they do. I want to be very clear that when I created this Len Bias, I did not give him like 99 potential. I gave him, I think it was 92 or somewhere in there. I made him 79 overall, the second best player in his draft class. But look, he's an MVP. What can you say? Look at this stat line. It is ludicrous. We're going to see what the other Celtics got up to later, but this is wild. Less exciting, this guy who I've never heard of as Rookie of the Year. Clark Kellogg, 6th man. Akeem Olajuwon yet again as Defensive Player of the Year. Del Curry, Most Improved. Of course, Len Bias makes first team All-NBA, and Larry Bird is on second team. Bias also is apparently a very good defender, as is Larry Bird. Here's a quick look at our player stats. Of course, the same issue we had last year. A lot of our older players are getting injured. Hopefully they can make it through the playoffs. We can win a championship. And Boston is the 3 seed. They will be going up against the Bullets, whose whose best player is Jeff Ruland. Bias and Bird dominate in the first round. They'll be taking on Michael Jordan's Bulls in round 2. Jordan and Bias both have 50-point games in this series, but it is Bias's team that comes out on top. The Celtics will be facing Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Larry Legend and Lynn Bias make quick work of the Hawks. Now it's on to the finals where they'll face Clyde Drexler, Ralph Sampson, and their old friend, Kevin McHale. The Blazers have avoided the sweep, but the Celtics scoring is giving them fits. Let's see if Larry and Lynn can win a championship. As you can see, 45 seconds to go. Boston leads by 14. There's no coming back for the Trailblazers. Let's get to the confetti. And there you go. In his MVP season, Lynn Bias helps lead the Celtics to a championship, although he could not do it with Larry Bird, of course, or Reggie Lewis. Bird and Bias combined for nearly 70 points, and it has to be said, Robert Parrish doing a ton of work in the post to frustrate Ralph Sampson, who had a terrible shooting night in this closeout game. And as mentioned, Reggie Lewis contributing still. He got 3 blocks as a shooting guard. Lynn Bias is your finals MVP. The Celtics have won their first title in this era. Can they keep it rolling? Let's find out. Okay, coming off of a championship and Lynn Bias winning MVP, the Celtics have gone out and added Moses Malone. Obviously, he is very old, but so is Robert Parrish. I'm not really sure how the rotation is going to work exactly, but we'll see if we can win another championship, make it back-to-back. All right, the Celtics go back-to-back. You love to see it. Larry Bird picks up MVP. Tim Hardaway, Rookie of the Year. John Williams, Sixth Man. Akeem Olajuwon, Defensive Player of the Year, as always. We do get Coach of the Year, of course. The league-leading 69-13 record, nice. And Executive of the Year as well. Bird is first team All-NBA, Bias is second team All-NBA, and of course Boston is the 1 seed. And then of course here are the stats for the year, just in case you're wondering. It looks like Dennis Johnson definitely starting to fall off, so it would be nice to see. Reggie Lewis take his spot in the starting lineup. And this first round Milwaukee team is actually not too terrible. It could be a tough test. Let's see how we do. Boston gets through round 1 relatively easily, but now they're going to face down Michael Jordan's Bulls. I guess you'd say good news, though, is that Scottie Pippen's injured. I mean, never want to root for an injury, but it's going to make it easier. So let's see if we can make quick work of the Bulls. As expected, Boston rolls through Chicago. They're going on to the Eastern Conference Finals where they're going to face Terry Cummings and the Washington Bullets. Another easy sweep for the Celtics. They're going to go on to the finals where they will face Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. Could be a tough test, although Moses Malone, I think, maybe makes this just a bit easier. Let's see how they do. The Rockets have run out to a 3-1 series lead. Let's see if the Celtics can claw one back. This is not going well. Okay, I was too slow on the draw. Apologies, Houston Rockets fans. I don't get to see you guys celebrate, but as you can see, your team absolutely dominated the Celtics. We can look at the box score here. Larry Bird was a little bit injured, so maybe that played the part in it, but we're not going to take too much away from the Rockets. Lynn Bias, 38 points in the loss. We can look at the Rockets over here. Akeem Olajuwon having a great series, great game. The Rockets win the championship. The Celtics cannot make it back-to-back, although they did win back-to-back MVPs, so you have to give them up for that. Let us get on to season. Let's see if we can win a couple more championships. All right, we are here in year 4. As you can see, the team looks mostly the same. There is one new name, but I did want to point out that Dennis Johnson continues to get old, as does Robert Parrish. Parrish starting the season out 2 to 4 months with a dislocated right patella. Not the best, but still, he was only, 78 overall at 37 years old, so not too big of a loss. But we did add Dennis Rodman, so he's not, he's not the Dennis Rodman we know, I don't think. I don't know if he ever will become it. As you can see, he has a C+ potential, which I think is a little rude to Mr. Rodman, Mr. The Worm, excuse me. Anyways, really what we're hoping for is more continued growth from Lynn Bias and Reggie Lewis. Lynn Bias did win MVP 2 years ago, so I don't know how much more growth he can get than that, but let us see how they do in season number 4. End of the year here, Hakeem wins MVP, no Celtic this time. Gary Payton for the Timberwolves Rookie of the Year. John Williams picks up Sixth Man. Hakeem wins Defensive Player of the Year as always. Scottie Pippen gets Most Improved, okay. And the Rockets are very good as you can see. Looking through these All-NBA lists, Lynn Bias does pop up on second team. And Larry Bird, oh no. Oh no. I'm going to take this injury away because honestly, we want to see these 3 guys play together, see if they can win some more titles. And it's just not fun for people to get injured. But, you know, what can you do? All defensive first team and second team. Lynn Bias does pop up here, so he's continuing to improve, although his overall has not gone higher than 86 yet, so that's a little concerning. The Celtics are a 2 seed. They'll be going against Cleveland, who has Trapuka and Xavier McDaniel, and also Manute Bol coming off the bench, so not an easy out, but we'll see how it goes. And here are the stats. As you can see, Lynn Bias definitely taking over the bulk of the scoring this year, although Larry Bird's still averaging 20 points per game. But the big news is that we've had a lot of injuries. I mean, Robert Parrish only played 57 games. Dennis Johnson can only start 28 games, so it obviously means Reggie Lewis is overtaking him in the depth chart. But then the big ones are losing Larry Bird and Lynn Bias for, 20 games and 10 games, so that probably hurts them in the standings quite a bit. Of course, we're going to take away this Larry Bird injury and see how they do against the Cavs. Boston easily makes to the first round now that Larry Bird is magically healed, and they'll be going up against the Bullets in round 2. I believe the Bullets have, who is it? Yeah, Kenny Walker, Cliff Robinson, so it should be an easy matchup for us, but we'll see how it goes. You never know what's going to happen. The Celtics have yet to lose a playoff game. They very easily sweep past the Bullets. They'll be facing the Bulls with MJ and Scottie Pippen, although this time the Celtics have Dennis Rodman. Will he be the difference maker? Let's find out. As expected, the stars shone bright in the Bulls-Celtics matchup. However, it was Moses Malone being dominant on the boards that put the Celtics over the Bulls in 6. Now, they're going to go on to face this Supersonics team, which has a very familiar foe for Larry Bird. That's right, everybody. I forgot to mention Magic Johnson signed with the Supersonics. Let's see who wins this one. All right, it has been a hard-fought battle so far, but the Celtics find themselves up 3-2, trying to close this one out. Let's see if they can pull it off. Celtics only down by 6 with 1:40 to go, but Magic Johnson is at the line. If he makes these, we could be in trouble. He makes the first, back up by 7. No, that's 6, sorry. And now they're up by 7, excuse me. After Magic makes his free throws, Bias brings the ball down the court and finds Moses Malone for a wide open layup. Celtics are only down by 5, but unfortunately, Magic continues to be a matchup nightmare. Here he is bullying Kevin Willis to put the Sonics back up by 7. It has been a hard-fought series. The Celtics and the Supersonics find themselves all knotted up heading into Game 7. Let's see if the Celtics can come out on top. And with 1.5 minutes left to go, it looks like the Celtics have officially put the finishing touches on the Seattle squad. And it's been a total team effort. Even Robert Parrish, the Chief, has gotten in on the scoring, dropping 18 points in what may be his last game in Boston. For now, let's go ahead and skip to the confetti drop. And there you have it. Boston are the champions once again. That's 2 times in 3 years. Getting Larry Bird, these 2 young guys, has really extended his career. He's probably going to be able to play a couple more seasons well into the 90s. Robert Parrish, maybe not quite so much, but he is a tad bit older. Anyways, it's great to see the Chief and the Legend get one more title before at least one of them has to hang it up. Let's move on to year number 5. I talked so sweetly about losing Robert Parrish after this season, but he's not retired. They did, however, lose John Drew, David Thompson, and Brad Davis, but I was really expecting to click over this list, see Robert Parrish, and talk about how great he has been, but, maybe next year, I guess. We are getting to the end here in year 5, but the team has made a few moves. Dennis Johnson obviously was old. He's gone. They brought another old guy, though. Rolando Blackman is now here. Also joining us is, where is he? Young Rick Fox, the foxy one, has joined the team, although he is out for 4 to 6 weeks with a concussion, so that's too bad. We haven't played a game yet, so I guess he picked it up in a practice. And the other good news is that Robert Parrish is going to be a lifer. He is sticking around. He's playing here forever, I guess, making almost $1 million at 38 years old. Everyone would love to do that, I think, especially in this era. That's a ton of money back in, the early 90s. Anyways, let's see how year 5 goes. Okay, the Celtics cannot pick up the MVP. It goes to Hakeem Olajuwon, Rookie of the Year, Billy Owens, 6th Man of the Year, John Williams, yet again, I believe. Hakeem, of course, Defensive Player of the Year. Terry Mills, Most Improved, and the Magic get Coach and Executive of the Year. Lynn Bias, though, does show up on First Team All-NBA. Lynn Bias does get Second Team All-Defense, but the Celtics are all the way down at the 3 seed. Here is a quick look at the player stats. As you can see, Larry Bird, Moses Malone, definitely falling off a little bit, but hopefully we can make up for it. Let's see how we do in the playoffs. In round 1, we're going to lose to the Nets, who have Adrian Dantley and Bill Laimbeer, so they should be beatable, but we'll see how it goes. All right, as expected, the Celtics roll through the Nets. They're going to be facing the Hawks in round 2, and this team is actually pretty good. They, of course, have Isaiah Thomas, but then Nick Anderson, Dale Ellis, Hot Rod Williams, LaSalle Thomas, Linwood Forrest, quite a few good guys. Look like they could probably compete with us. I will be honest, I was not expecting a sweep, but the Celtics did it largely behind their two young guns, Reggie Lewis and Lynn Bias. But now things may get a little bit tougher because the Bullets went out last year and signed Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Could be a tough one. Let's see how it goes. With the Sonics looming in the finals, we are going into Game 7 against Michael Jordan and the Bullets. Let's see if we can finish this thing out. Okay, as you can see, no real reason to jump into the game. We are absolutely destroying them. That's what? 10, 20, 30, 42 points. We're winning by 42 points in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And, it's not like Jordan is hurt or anything. We're just dominating them in every aspect of the game. So we're going to go ahead and move to the finals and see if we can take down the Supersonics once again. Okay, a quick tale of the tape. Of course, they still have Magic Johnson. They still have Wayman Tisdale. Last year, Dan Dunn also gave us a lot of trouble, so hopefully it doesn't happen this year. And I don't remember. I think Alton House Jr. is on the team, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure these two guys are created, judging by their tattoos, but I could be wrong. Same with Joe Wolf, just judging by his haircut. Yeah, they have some players. Obviously, Magic is always going to be a tough out. Let's see if we can win our second finals in a row. All right, the Celtics hold a 3-2 series lead. Let's see if they can close this out or if the Supersonics can force a Game 7. Well, folks, sadly, there's no real drama here. I'd love to show you some highlights. I mean, I'm sure we'll see some highlights, but Boston has a 8-point lead with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go. It's going to take a big-time miracle from the Supersonics to claw it back. There's Magic Johnson, though, hitting a shot, bringing Seattle within 6. Boston, 1.5 minutes. See if they can close this thing out. This has been the problem pretty much for Seattle all series. As you can see right here, Lynn Bias just getting to the rack with ease, dunking all over Joe Wolf. He does not stand a chance. Boston really has to score here if they want to have a shot. We'll stick with them, see if they can maybe put something up. House Jr. gets a pick from Wolf, looking, finds Magic. Magic Johnson taking that matchup. If he hits this, he has a chance. Okay, we're still within 6. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. There is a possibility the Sonics could come back into this one. House Jr. forces the turnover. He doesn't have the speed, though, to get around whoever that is. Brown, is that D. Brown, maybe? I'm not sure. He's looking for somebody, finds Magic Johnson. Again, this is a great matchup for the Supersonics. Oh my gosh, Magic Johnson making Earl Willis look like a chump. 4-point game, 42 seconds left to go. Willis brings the ball down the court. He's going to get fouled almost immediately by Magic. I think that might be too early to foul, to be honest with you. Willis's first shot is up. He's going to... Oh, I thought he missed that. He makes it. 65% though, very close to being out. Second shot is up. And that is a miss. House Jr. bringing the ball down the court. 35 seconds on the clock, down by 5. What are they going to do? They really need to find Magic. That is probably not what they need to do. A big miss. Would have been nice to find... Is Magic fouled out? No, there he is. Wait, is he fouled out? Hold on, sorry. Is Magic Johnson fouled out of the game? Magic Johnson is... Magic Johnson is fouled out of the game, so it's pretty... Yeah, it's definitely over at this point. Ugh. You hate that for the Supersonics. No chance for a comeback. And there you have it, folks. The Celtics were without Reggie Lewis, who was injured in this game. Didn't notice that until we got into it. And also Larry Bird did foul out deep into the game, but it does not matter. They're able to win behind Lynn Bias's 30 points. Larry did contribute pretty well, 35 points. Rolando Blackman also in place of the injured Reggie Lewis. A good, solid game from him. Moses Malone left a little bit to be desired, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day because the Celtics are your back-to-back champions, ending the 5-year run with 3 out of 5 champions. Look at Rick Fox over there celebrating like he did something. I don't think he even played in this game. Dennis Rodman wins a title as well. Love to see that. All right, let's move on to the end of this thing. And with that, the 5 years that we usually do are done. The players, the contracts I gave them to make sure they would stay with the team are now over. Anything can happen, but because the series is looking at what would happen to the Celtics if these two guys who are relatively young had stayed with them, I'm going to go for 2 or 3 more years. I'm just going to go very quickly through this, so we won't be looking at everything. I'll just be showing you the highlights. If you watch the Victor Wembanyama video, very similar to the last 5 years of that, we'll probably go until, I don't know, 95 maybe. We'll see when Larry Bird retires, basically is what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and get to the start of season number 6. Okay, so I went to the bathroom. I took a bathroom break and I came back and I thought I hit record and I didn't. So we don't get to see, I unfortunately skipped over. I mean, we went really fast, so it didn't take that long for me to record. But of course, I didn't actually hit the record button. So you will never get to see, unfortunately, everything that happened. But I will show you the even shorter version here. because as you can see, just after beating the Supersonics in back-to-back finals, the Celtics were able to go up against the San Antonio Spurs, who I don't know if we can't see who they had, but they did beat the Spurs in the 93 finals to give the Celtics back-to-back championships. I think, is this right win? Also, I mean, they basically took the place of Jordan, right? And then the next year, they didn't even make it out of the first round, and the team looked like they were in a lot of trouble because Larry Bird was down to like an 84 overall, and Reggie Lewis was hurt, and it didn't look very good for us. But somehow, we came back. We beat Magic Johnson's Rockets in the last year of the save. And now, of course, we have won, what is this? We did we won four of our six finals. So I think you got to say, I mean, I think people would say this anyways, like regardless of this save, that had Reggie Lewis and Lynn Bias not had very unfortunate and untimely deaths, that it would have really helped extend Larry Bird's career and also potentially made the transition from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000 Celtics a bit easier, because there were dark periods where, before they got Paul Pierce, before they got Antoine Walker, where the Celtics were just not very good. And I think this really would have helped, flatten that window, smooth things out, made it a little bit easier to transition from one era to the next. So I think the save was very successful in that regard. Of course, I do apologize that I forgot to hit the record button, but what can you do? I'll show you really quickly. We can look at the season awards. So starting in what year did they won in? It would have been 93. So we got Michael Jordan won his first MVP, David Robinson, Shaq. Then rookies, Shaq, C-Webb, Jason Kidd. Look at this mother effer, John Williams winning 5 straight Sixth Man of the Year. I don't even know who he is. Is he a real guy?
He is him.
Probably, but what do I know? Calbert Chaney then finally takes it from him in 95. Defensive Player of the Year. Look, when you do these saves, Hakeem Olajuwon is going to win every Defensive Player of the Year. Most Improved, Tony Kukoc, Shaq, and then the next year Shaq won MVP, so he improved a little bit more, I would say, but Donald Ingram wins it the next year. So there you go. That is the save. I hope you all had a really good time. I certainly did. It's in spite of me forgetting to hit the record button, which is very annoying for me, and I do apologize yet again. I'm going to be profusely apologizing until we end this. So let's go ahead and get out of here so I don't have to apologize anymore. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.